week, I sat in an AutoZone parking lot and cried for 10 minutes because I couldn't change the headlight. Which sounds like a lead up to a terrible stand-up teen, one where the joke is always on me. Like, haha. I have a bag of petrol M&Ms at 11:30 in the morning in bed. Or I watched the pile of Gossip Girl 10 times in the past 2 weeks because I kept falling asleep halfway through. Because being sad is a goddamn joke sometimes. My headlight went out when my first thought was, seems right. I couldn't change it myself because I had to take off the whole bumper or something, and I thought, of course, or I wish I was dead. Suicide is the fourth leading cause of death for teens aged 15 and 19. This averages to one person every 40 seconds. As with any cause of death, it is felt by many people. This is not the end. A program of poems by Regan Myers, Shane Korskin, and Patrick Roche. 1. This is not a love poem. This is a call to arms, a call to speak. This is not family gatherings when I mention mental health and I'm told not to spoil the turkey. That is impolite, uncouth. That is better to stay silent. That is taking that silence and breaking with my hands and teeth and tongue. This is people with mental illness banging our heads against the wall, not out of insanity, but to be heard, to make some noise. Too often we are ashamed. Too often we are in the shadows. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones hurt more than names we got called, or maybe I called them all. So we grew up believing no one will fall in love with us, that we'll be lonely forever, that we'll never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. 2. Suicide is not always a banshee wailing against your eardrums. It's a child playing hide and seek behind your friend's smile. They cannot wear it openly. They cannot hold its hand and seduce it to you. It's always invisible. Suicide is a lonely ghost desperate to give itself playmates. It is not a permanent solution to a temporary problem. These are so rarely temporary problems. It is aiming for a good night's sleep after years of insomnia. Sometimes it's careful plans, imagining the phone call my mother would get in the middle of a nap. Sometimes it's sudden. It is not always arriving. She was 8 years old. Our first day of grade 3, when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we can stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battlefield. We found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because the birthmark takes up little less than half her face. Kids used to say, she looks like the wrong answer. Someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. But they won't understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom, because they see her heart before they see her skin, because she's only ever been amazing. 3. This is not a list poem. This is a tea kettle rising to Spanish screech, but you keep ignoring it to watch TV. It keeps whistling and crying, but you keep ignoring it. How much noise do I have to make when we tell you we are suicidal? That is not a sign of weakness. This is that is not a sign of weakness. This is saying we're fighting. We've been fighting with every weapon and fist we have. We've crashed against a cliffside, broken and splintered. But we'll still fight with whatever we can. I'm using my voice. It's all I have left. Sometimes all I can do is laugh. If I don't, there might be nothing left. There's a crack in my bathtub in the shape of Platte River. I know this because I sit on the floor of my bathtub so often it becomes a permanent imprint in my thigh. I'm here because I've been sad since graduation. Not this one, but the one before. Or maybe I have a bad cold, or maybe it's both. But the cold makes the most sense for sympathy purposes. If I get out, I have to get dressed, have to put on clothes, put lotion on my legs, eat a bowl of cereal at least, take care of the body that refuses to take care of me. I am so tired of talking about my depression as if something else, a ghost that haunts me, wants me to be afraid. He was a broken branch, grafted onto a different family tree, adopted, not because his family opted for a different destiny. He became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone, 2 parts tragedy, started therapy in the 8th grade, had a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs. He tried to kill himself in grade 10. When a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, get over it. To this day, the stick of TNT lit from both ends could describe to you in detail the way the sky bent and the moment's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he still is a conversation piece between people who can't understand being drug free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. 4. Over the years, I've written different versions of my suicide note. On the nights I almost took my life, I always deleted or threw it away rather than leaving it for someone. If I'm going to die, better do it without all that fuss. Better do it in silence. Hundreds of thousands of people are dying in silence because of silence. This is not a list poem. This is saying we can keep each other breathing. This is speaking louder than the stigma and hoping someone will listen. You built a cast around your heart and signed it yourself. They were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in it. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not what we are called. We are not abandoned calls. Start out and sitting empty on some highway. And if some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to walk and get gas. When people ask me how I am, they might as well be asking me where I've gone. I am driving down a dirt road, no headlights. When it curves, I will not know. Just drive on into the field, my own voice playing on the radio telling me there is no place for you here.